Have you gotten any YouTube hate for fast roll from the large brain commenters that are on your videos?
No, they think it's okay. They think like light roll is okay because in most of the cases when someone is using light rolls, they have like a no absorption anyway and no poise, so therefore it's okay. And like let's make it clear, I am not joking. This is legitimate. Like I had discussion with one person like that. The gamer like straight up had discussion with me that he started the comment with saying that it is cringe to tell people what they're supposed to do and what's not. So I'm not gonna judge you for using of the ashes that you use. Basically, you know, wink wink, you're using broken shit, yeah?
Right, yeah.
And the gamer like basically ended up telling me that me saying in videos that like light rolls are broken is just pushing the narrative for views. And that's not true.
When I first like saw how the light roll works, I actually thought that it was like completely fine. I was like, oh, okay, like it's probably fine because like you don't get passive poison, you don't get all these other things, and it's probably like BS3, right? Where like it's usable and it's good in certain instances, but like because you know you aren't going to run it all the time to be optimal. And then like I started to see actually how busted it is. But yeah, especially on any type of latency, like it's not that terrible on like okay playable lap, but like once you get over like 160 170 it starts to become a pretty big problem.
It's like ultimately light rolls really have too little of the downsides. If you've had, for example, a cap that you cannot go above certain amount of the poise, and that would be, for an example, like 49 or something like that, probably still too high. Like it's if you couldn't like go above like for example the amount that allows you to, I don't know, poise through the dagger, yeah, so this is like 33 or something. Then like maybe they would be like okay, but they are ultra fucking broken at the given moment. Like they allow you to just ignore the ashes completely by using like a one light roll, and they scale of course with the latency. Obviously. And like, you know, and back to this comment that I'm talking about, so I'm explaining the guy, dude, like light roll allow you to trivialize spacing. Like you cannot really catch it with the flaming strike. You cannot catch it with the storm stomp. It's just like, you know, and the sort of the attempts of like using weapons that are insane for the sake of roll catching, even like fucking gags. It's still like, it's so much harder. You can just like click the button and you're into fucking like Canada. Even though a moment ago you was in Texas. And I'm explaining the guy, I'm telling him like how it actually works like, and the answer is that first of all, most of people using light rolls when they have no poise. Second of all, flaming strike, storm stomp, and UGS are all broken. So it's invalid argument. Like man, like it's ridiculous, yeah. And like the same person also was telling me that like my arguments doesn't make sense. So, like, the mechanisms are like, my argument is I like it, so I'm gonna be saying that it's good, yeah? It's pretty much like that, yeah? Even though, like, there could be potentially like a solution how to make light rolls good with the playstyle like these guys have, yeah? So, yeah. Like, they are playing, like, without poise and so on. Yeah, sure, it's just that like
well, it's also, you have to remember that like light roll is pretty attainable, and that's the other side of it too. It's kind of the same, like it's kind of like the backwards issue of poise, right? It's where like poise, yo gamer poise isn't like, if you think about like on it, like poise being unattainable to the sense that like most armor pieces are only going to get you somewhere in the 70s, maybe up to 100, then poise is pretty fine, right? But when you realize how easy it is to get over 100 poise, get to like 115 to 130 poise, like you realize just how broken fundamentally the game can be, because it's very easy to get to those builds. It's kind of the same problem with like light roll, right? Is that like pretty much any build can get to light roll if you build it correctly, because you like, you know, you can just make the sacrifices you need to make and very easily get light roll. We were talking about grabbing light rolls why, right? Like you can get any weapon class you want to use, you can very easily get to light roll, and that's where it kind of becomes a problem, where it's like if light roll is that good, then it needs to be hard to get to. For the same thing as like if 130 poise is that good, or really 100 plus poise is that good, it needs to be hard to get to. So it's the same issue, it's just backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's literally the same problem. The thing though is that light rolls scale with latency.
Right.
The more luck you have, the worse it is. It's like it becomes like incredibly uninteractive. Whereas like because of the way how the game is, the high poise is always interactive. Because like
Right.
you can always like deal more than max obtainable damage on any build, because even like jump L1 with the dual straight swords deal 150 poise damage. So like there is always a way, like of course it is broken, but there is always way to poise break someone that has shit tons of poise. There is no way to make light roller roll slower.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the potential counter to the light rolls is like, for an example, to the high latency in this game is status effect. But for the sake of to hit the status effects, you need to, well, hit the model of the player. You're not gonna hit the model of the player when someone is using light rolls because they are too far.
Yeah, that's true, because like it's actually a pretty good point to bring up. Is just like when you look at that particular side of it, where like I can do things that do 132 plus poise damage, but I can't do something that's going to increase my ability to catch iframes, especially on lanes. And by the way, Stanky, I just saw your comment. It's like light roll isn't that big of a problem on low lat. It's high latency where it really becomes an issue. Because like on low lat, stuff like heavy thrusting sword can catch it with like the running R2. If you space correctly with straight swords, you can catch it. Ugs can catch it.
I mean,
but
like,
it becomes like a problem when you put like 120 to 170 ping between the two of you or more, and then double rolling becomes a thing, and the range, etc.
So like I would say that not that big of the problem. I mean, like it's still the problem of trivializing spacing. So like, you know, you just you literally fucking like with one button click you can backroll out of the flaming strike. It's normally doesn't happen. You have to time it, yeah? Out of the flaming strike, out of the storm stomp. With light roll, you just click it.
So Amir and I tested it when we were doing like the rule set for the leaderboard, and I was on ruins, which I feel like the shortest. Well, not really the shortest, because you do have Radons, but for all intents and purposes, the shortest Colossal, right? And out of hit stun when he was on light roll, so if I landed the hit, if I like walked up to his left, like in the time of the hit stun and didn't go for a double poke, no matter what direction he rolled, I could roll catch on reaction.
Yes.
Even though it was light load.
Yes.
And granted, that's Uggs, right?
I see it like that. On the low latency, you just have to reaction roll on the light roll, but you still like, you know, do not have like to be as cautious as on the mid roll.
Oh no, you can definitely throw it out a lot more, because like I have to be like in order to get that, like it's gonna be pretty difficult for me to just reaction roll catch you if I'm not expecting your roll and I'm not setting up for it. Like it's very hard for me to just hit you. I was actually really close to a backstab. It's hard for me to just set it up and land that, because like you can kind of throw it out a lot more cautiously, and because of the range, I have to be set up specifically to punish it. So I would definitely agree with that. How would this build do with an offstock? We have the I believe we have the 137 variant.
Oh, he heated him out? Oh. Okay, I heated him out.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna screenshot this.
Oh. Okay, this is fantastic, man.